Hello and welcome to the Silent Personalities. In the 1200s, the world was ended, entire kingdoms disappeared in weak cities, burned so completely that even their names vanished from history. From China, the Middle East, Eastern European force crushed everything in its path. Mongols Empire, built on terror and armies so fast, so brutal, so unstoppable that people believed they were the punishment of God itself. And when they turned toward Russia, nobody thought survival was possible. Not the princess, not the churches, not even the people. Bekau's Russia was not a united nation. It was broken. David Weckwing fought princesses, betrayed city sand, while the Russian lands argued among themselves. The Mongols were coming closer every day. The known young prince made a decision that shocked everyone. It would challenge the most terrifying empire on earth before Russia was even ready to fight. His name was Dmitry Donskoy, and this is the story of the prince who dared to stand against the Mongols. What resistance meant almost certain death for over a century. Lived under the shadow of the Mongol Golden Horde. Every prince had to bow before Mongol Khans. Every city paid tribute. Every act of rebellion ended in fire and slaughter. The Mongols controlled Russia without needing to occupy every inch of it. Fear did the job for the man. Fear worked because the people remembered what happened to cities that resisted. Riaz Kondiklys butchered women and Slavic children burned alive inside churches. Mongols did not forgive rebellion. They erased it. The mid-1300s, Russian princes had accepted humiliation as normal. One city was beginning to change. Moscow at the time. Moscow was not the greatest Russian city. It was not the richest or the oldest. It was ambitious, and when a young prince named Dmitry inherited power, everything began to shift. Dmitry was different from the rulers before him. He did not just want survival, wanted freedom, and that idea alone was dangerous because even speaking against Mongol rule could get an entire city destroyed. Dmitry saw something others ignored. Golden Horde was no longer invincible. For decades, the Mongols had ruled through unity and terror. Now they were collapsing from within. Civil wars erupted between rival clans. Assassinations became common. Power shifted constantly, and for the first time in generations, the empire looked vulnerable. Most princes saw this as a reason to stay cautious. Dmitry saw opportunity. He began strengthening Moscow, building alliance, training soldiers, fortifying the city, and then it did something revolutionary. Built the White Stone Moscow Kremlin not just as a fortress, but as a message. Moscow was preparing for war. Mongols noticed it, and they were not amused. At the center of the growing crisis stood a powerful Mongol warlord named Mamai. Was not officially combat. He controlled much of the Golden Horde through fear and military power, and he understood exactly what Dmitry represented. Not just rebellion. If Moscow resisted successfully, the Russian princes might rise to the entire Mongol system could collapse. Mamai decided to crush Moscow. Before that happened, but Dmitry refused to back down. Instead of prepared for the impossible war against the Mongols. And this was not just any enemy. Mongol cavalry was legendary. They moved faster than medieval armies. Thought possibility attacked from impossible distances. They surrounded enemies like wolves hunting prey. Many armies broke before the battle even started. Yet Dmitry gathered his forces anyway. Princes from across Russian land slowly joined him. Not all of them so were too afraid of their secretly sided with the Mongols, but enough answered the calendar. In 1380, Dmitry marched toward destiny. The armies approached each other near the Don River on a field called Battle of Kulikovo. Dmitry faced a terrible choice: retreat or cross the river and commit complications. Cross it, there would be no easy escape, no safe withdrawal. If they lost Russia's future, could die. Dmitry crossed anyway. His men understood what that meant. They would either win or never return home. Night before battle, the atmosphere was terrifying. Thousands of soldiers waited in silence. Many believed they would die. By morning, priests moved through the camps giving blessings. Warriors prayed in the darkness, and somewhere beyond the fog, Mongols waited. Then dawn coming with one of the most important battles in Russian history. The Battle of Kulikovo began with thunder. Mongol horse archers surged forward. Arrows darkened the sky. Lines shook under the assault, and cavalry slammed into infantry. With horrifying force, still crushed bone. Horses screamed and vanished beneath mud, and blood. Fighting became chaos, and at the center of it all, Dmitry fought as an ordinary soldier. Wearing royal armor, not hiding behind guards, entered the slaughter himself. Bekau's. He knew something important: if the prince hid, the army's courage would collapse. So he fought beside his men like one of them. Hour after Hearth battle, ravaged Russians began losing ground. Mongols pushed harder. Many believed the end had come. Dmitry unleashed his hidden force. Reserve army concealed in the forest suddenly charged into the Mongol flank. The attack shattered Mamai's momentum and spread. Mongol formations broke in. For the first time in generations, a major Mongol army was defeated. by Russian forces the impossible had happened at the field of Kulikovo became a graveyard of thousands. Bodies covered the earth, broken weapons vanished beneath. Blood-soaked mud. Victory came at a terrible price. Dmitry himself was found unconscious after the battle, buried beneath dead soldiers' bit. He was a living. History had changed forever. Know it is important to understand something. Kulikovo did not immediately, and Mongol rolleth Golden Horde would attack again. Moscow would still suffer years later. Toktamish would burn the city in revenge, but psychologically was different now. The myth of Mongol invincibility was dead. Russia had proven the Mongols could bleed. Cool blows could be resisted, and that changed history forever. Dmitry became known as Dmitry Donskoy, Don Prince, a symbol of resistance, a ruler who challenged fear itself, and his victory transformed Moscow from just another Russian city into the future heart of Russia, because nations are not built only through conquests and mediums. They are born the moment people stop being afraid. For over 100 years, the Mongols ruled Russia through terror, but on the fields of Kulikovo, Prince proved terror could be broken, and once people realize an empire can fall, its end has already begun. So, when historians talk about the rise of Russia, they often begin here with a Princea battlefield and the decision that should have ended in disaster, but instead changed the future of an entire civilization forever. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more epic videos like this, your support helps us bring more powerful stories and cinematic content every week.